Recording started.
What's up, everybody? My name is BMAX78, aka Brandon with Sports Talk with Brandon on this Tuesday night. This is going to be episode 4 of the Anime Dojo, where we're going to be going through Hell's Paradise episode 6 and Demon Slayer episode 5. I'm alongside Chris as well. As we're getting the opening segment stuff out, get Hell's Paradise up and ready to go, and then we'll do the countdown and everything. Chris, me and you both saw this episode as of Saturday. We think they've gone a little crazy, but when you first, I say a little because they've gotten more crazy, but I say a little because there's still questions they haven't answered. There's still things they need to figure out, but we'll go through it as we watch it. When you saw it the first time, what was the one thing that kind of made you wonder where they're going with this? Because it felt like there's still no cohesive story.
Right. So, besides the action in this story, in this anime, is the reason I keep coming back to watching it is because I am seeing a lot of character growth. I am seeing people get past certain problems and getting. So it is somewhat inspiring, I should say.
Yes. I'll talk about this YouTube channel. It's called the Weeb Commander. Did a video on Hell's Paradise a month ago, and I found it today, and I was walking through it a little bit. So I didn't know Hell's Paradise had a manga. The manga's been out longer and fully out than the show right now. The manga is 13 books. There's over 100, I think 200 something chapters total in the manga. It's part of the YouTuber that when on the YouTube the video he was talking about. It's part of the Dark series with Jujutsu Kaisen and what was the other one? Chainsaw Man. And he talked about how this show is probably the darker of the three, but it's the darker of the three, but it's probably the one that doesn't get a lot of love. Why do you think is that?
Maybe because we keep getting mystery after mystery without getting, without a mystery getting solved. So, and I'm sure if I was reading the manga and I was reading chapter by chapter, getting the mystery, at one point I'm either going to get bored of it, just me personally, or I'm going to keep buying every book till I get to the end, which
gets the end of it. Yeah,
kind of what I'm taking of it with watching the anime. So,
yeah, and I think the thing is, it's interesting when he mentions the manga because I'm like, if there's been a manga about this, and the manga is not that. And the manga is pretty dark in general, and then the show's going that same route. I'm wondering, like you said last episode, or when we talked Saturday, do you think it's just like they are trying to not drip feed it, but like the manga is a slow burn, so it's like we're only in like the first book still, not even that.
With that being said, me personally, I don't see why. I don't remember the first in the chain of 3 that you said, but between Hell's Paradise and Chainsaw Man, I still haven't quite seen what's exactly dark about it, besides the idea of demons in hell. I'm still trying to wait and see what's so dark about it.
The other show the other book I mentioned is Jujutsu Kaisen 0.
Okay, so again, it's and Jujutsu Kaisen hasn't really had a dark moment yet, but I will admit it is a good anime.
That's what I figured. I'm like, they considered remember when they were trying to make the dark? I think they were trying to make the dark pictures in movies where they were going to have like Frankenstein's monster, they were going to have Count Dracula, all these like darker characters. This is probably the kind of style of like darker animes, more mature animes, but have a like story behind it was a little bit different. Which I think the I know Chainsaw Man and Jujutsu Kaisen are both good, so they're not bad. They're good at that. I don't think this has done the same kind of thing of like it's not super dark, Hell's Paradise, but it's not. It still has too many mysteries behind it.
But I can see it getting dark though.
Yes,
depending on the kind of turns that the characters make. And a matter of fact, in all of those animes, I can see how each of them can get darker really quick.
Yes, and usually, and you mentioned. Go ahead.
I was gonna say the darkest anime or animes that I've seen thus far are probably Fudoka Magic. I'm sure I'm mispronouncing that. Because that was dark as all get out.
I know what yeah.
And there's another one I can't think of right now, but go ahead.
Before we get in the episode, I will say this. This anime is probably jumped up in the charts because of the visuals. This and Demon Slayer probably have some of the best visuals in terms of fighting. You're fighting other characters, just like showing off the powers, all this kind of stuff. So I think that's why it's been staying in the top. Both these animes have been staying top 4 on the strength of that, but the story is kind of like secondary. It's like the character building and everything else is secondary for a lot of people because there's a lot of just like information thrown at you. Would you agree with that, Chris?
Yes, I do agree with that.
Well, ladies and gentlemen,
I will say this.
Oh, go ahead.
Wait, I will say this. For those who have not seen Demon Slayer Episode 5, holy shit, the graphics. Holy shit, graphics. I'm sorry for cussing.
No, you're good.
So,
the
graphics. Now, but I do plan to be explicit a little bit. So,
the graphics are good for Demon Slayer. This episode, the graphics are good. But they're great. They're great. They're great. But I hope you have the episode up. I'm gonna give it 3, 2, 1 in a minute or so, and we're gonna get right into it. So I hope you're ready. 3, 2, 1. Let's go. And the episode's title is Heaven and Heart and Reason.
Interesting title for this episode.
Yeah, very interesting title.
I love this intro song.
Oh, I listen to it so much. So much. Like my night playlist became too long now because I have like so many intro songs and just like J-pop or K-pop like singers I like. I'm like, okay, this is.
Well, see, although I have no idea what they're saying, whatever it is, it goes good with the song.
Correct.
Like I would like to hear this in English or a somewhat English version, if it can.
By the way, did you see when the little flower curled up into the where it's in the dice? The 2 girls you see in that flower is the same 2 girls. We're gonna get to that because that.
Can't give away too much.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a tease for something, which I'm like, they teased that in the intro. nobody thought about.
I will say this episode has its own surprises that was like, okay, now I don't see Demon Slayer doing that.
No.
Sorry.
I kind of love the fact they start with a flashback.
Well, you kind of want to know why this dude is so friggin' strong. That he
Yeah, you do
literally
want to
can
know.
just slap somebody. You know, you can slap a piece of a body just completely off
Clean
somebody.
off. Like you just.
And you think about it, he's missing a whole kidney, part of his stomach.
He's missing kidney, stomach, and part of his ribs.
Yeah, all of that.
Oh, that's gone. Like there's nothing left.
Yeah, it's safe to assume Evan don't no longer exist.
Yep.
This dude literally threw a whole tree
He
like it
picked
was a
it.
stick.
Yeah, he like picked it from the roots. No problem, and just tossed it.
You know, I really thought that she was gonna do some type stuff, but she really is just a bitch.
She just seems like more of a like. She don't want to fight. She just wants to get the help to get out of here.
And that's the duality of women right now. Yeah, I wish I could see the numbers on that.
Numbers of what?
Like the velocity in which you have to throw a rock.
Oh, to kick it and
a
get
tree
all
like
those
that.
like pieces. Yeah.
Right. Which means he can withstand that. Like
They probably won't. They probably wouldn't say what it is though.
of course not. You have to get some professionals on that one.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is the bullshit part. Like, girl, he was trying to kill you last episode.
I'm surprised she still cares about him. Like you say, after she almost wanted, she's about to decapitate. He was about to decapitate you. Like what?
For real. And now that you're dying, you want to say now you understand it. Like, my dude, really?
I mean, yeah.
And then you give her back the sword that she probably took. Like, that's the one that she probably took properly.
Yeah, that's the one she took. That's probably the one she took.
But you can't tell her to run no more. What you can't do shit. Woo!
I wonder how he cut off a finger, but didn't cut off anything else at that first strike.
It's like she said, she aiming for the tendon. She's only able to get one. But their whole explanation is almost like, I think it's flawless.
Yeah. By the way, why is he hung up in a tree? We still don't get the reason. Like, he's hung up in a tree and she's sitting on the tree. It doesn't make no sense.
And she threw the kunai and is holding him up.
Yeah, that's the thing I'm wondering. Why? What did you do that for?
Now that is a good question. Because she probably could have easily just let him die.
Yeah.
And you can notice, didn't even cut the skin.
Nope. Because I remember the first time we watched this, I'm like, wait, she didn't even get any like cut for blood or anything. It just like.
Anybody else that would have been instant death.
Oh, he would have been destroyed. Yeah.
Dude spewed blood both mouth and eyes.
Yeah, that's a little. Ooh. Oh, that's why the title's called the way it is for this episode.
Reason.
Both heart and reason. So emotions and reasons would be the reason, like your emotions is your heart. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
One of those old proverbs: if you calm your heart and calm your mind, everything else seems so simple after that.
Mm-hmm. I will say they draw the samurai, the girl in the purple. It's as well as it's drawn as well as Mutsuri in Demon Slayer? Why? Like, it's not necessary.
What? I think that's part of the reason why, if you're a guy watching this show, you can't necessarily hate her as much as a bitch as she is.
No, like she's.
But any female watching this, again, like I said, the duality of females, some women are going to be like, yeah, sit up there, girl. You ain't got to get in if you don't want to. While some girls are going to be like, she going to let them die? She going to die with them just to let them die.
It might be a low stream.
Mm. I bet he can't block a 50 cal to the head.
Nope.
Four-eyed raccoon.
I just read that. I should have read that. I'm like, wait, she called him that? But she did. She is saving his life, so I'm not like. It's a weird thing. He's like, we need to get out of here. We need to go because you can set this place on fire. Right. But at the same time, you're calling him four-eyed raccoon.
Four-eyed raccoon dog.
That's just, oh man, you really are just weird.
Who wrote that? I want to know who wrote that.
I bet it means something else. Like what it actually means is not what it's written as.
Probably so. You have to wait and hear the English trans.
Mm-hmm. I love that.
And this is the sad part about this.
So did he
killed his parents.
Yeah. Did he hurt his family and he just got overwhelmed by his sensational hunger?
Yes.
I thought that's
Kind
what
of
they were
like Big
going.
Mom from One Piece.
Yeah, that's what I thought they were going for. He grew so big that they couldn't keep him satiated. That is okay. And then he just became a
He was
monster.
literally a giant. He wasn't even a monster. He was literally a giant with the mind of a child.
Child, yeah, that's what I say. I didn't mean monster in that sense. Like, yeah, so he was a little like a giant with the mind of a child, where he didn't have the motor function or the understanding of what.
All he knew was hungry, fight to get food, basic instinct. But then again, is the way he played with people. He was too strong to just play with people.
Correct. This is where things get kind of weird because it cuts a lot. This next half of the show.
Yep.
And I don't know, and I'll explain why I think this is really strange after we watch it all.
Yep. We should just let our viewers and listeners just enjoy the scenes that are about to unfold.
Yes, there's a lot coming up.
When did his hand get chopped off?
Remember that monster, that bug, that little fly-looking human, that like fly looks like a human face, bit it off. He bit it. So then he had to chop off his own hand because it was going to turn front and flower. That was episode 2 or 3.
Yeah. Okay.
But I think in 3 he hides his hand, so we don't see it again after he does it.
Exactly. It's gross. It's all get out.
Yeah, it is. But it is the Wilder 5.
Maybe so, but there's got to be something better.
True. But I wouldn't eat half the fruit on this island if there's any fruit on the island.
I was thinking that too. It's like, man, they ain't really nothing else. This better be good. Yeah, I'm weird about that last bit.
Oh God. All right. So I'm gonna start off with this. As we're talking about this Hell's Paradise episode, get up the next episode for Demon Slayer. I'm gonna ask you this question, Chris. There's two big things in this episode I think is really odd. So we start off with the main group has to defeat the giant. They have to figure out a way to either subdue the giant, the guy, or whatever. And so that's the main plot. That's the main plot story. So we have that cool little fight.
Right.
Then we just randomly after the fight, the ninja girl and the other executioner run off because they just trying out the fire after they burn the guy out, smoke the guy out, cut his head off.
Right.
I have two questions. One, she took the other samurai lady, the other executioner lady that took the words from the guy that was dying, took the words to heart, and she calmed her mind. And she subdued her emotions. I have a question for you. Do you think she don't like to kill?
No, I don't think it's a question of liking to kill.
But she don't like to hurt people. Yeah.
I think it's more of a question of duty.
Yeah.
So like, this is what I'm here for. Now, whether I'm here for the right reasons is the reasons why she's causing conflict.
Because it feels like she's trying to find her place in all this.
Exactly.
But at the same time, she also sees that Gabimaru is also trying to find his place. He has a will to live. His will to live is because of his wife. Her will to live is just she wants to be able to become stronger.
Correct.
Then my other thing is, so we go from that. Then we cut to probably, okay, I'll ask this first before I say this. We cut to two of my favorite characters so far in this, the two brothers. Who's your favorite character ever right now? We've met all the cast that is still alive.
My favorite character thus far that's a very good question. Because and you know, if I had to pick a character other than the main character, it would have to be the supporting character, the samurai lady. I feel like she's the one who we need to watch, who's going to do the most growth as a character.
Okay.
Because all the characters have already acknowledged her as being the strongest, but we haven't really just seen it yet. We've seen her capabilities, so you can see that she can really, like, we saw her blocking the giant's fist like it was nothing.
Like it's nothing.
While our main character had to literally jump around to miss. So we haven't really just seen her go all out when it's an attacking. So yeah.
Then I think the other thing that I really want to get into. So then we roll up on our other two characters that we've been within the group. They roll up on this village. The samurai guy says, with the glasses, says, this village has been here since the island was around. So my question is, this island has to be man-made, correct? Do you think the island's man-made?
Possibly.
Because nobody would literally live in that village with all that stuff around.
True, but that village is like, we saw it in ruins, and they're claiming that somebody used to live there. But I think the most striking thing is that they kept calling it. They kept calling it a place and a name, but it's not the English. It's not an English translation for it, which makes you want to look it up.
What's the name they gave it?
Oh, I forgot. I couldn't pronounce it, but it started with an S.
Oh, yes. Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. That it started with an S. Okay, that's the word. That's one. I'm really interested what the English, if we see the English voice acting for that, what's going to be the actual thing they call it.
Exactly.
So then they're staring at this village, and they're wondering why this village is here and how it's here. Then here's where the cutting came in a little too much. Then they cut to the two brothers, and then they're fighting all these monsters. He's sitting on one of the monsters, drinking the blood of one of them, and kind of because he has nothing else to drink, which is kind of disgusting, like you said. But also, like I said, there's no fruit. If there's fruit on the island, you're not going to eat it. There's no point.
Right.
And the other brother talks about there is a old man who used to live on this village, used to have these magical, not powers, but he was like this overseer of the village. So they're kind of saying that this village has a magical or not demonic, but like some kind of past that connects all this stuff together.
Right.
So what do you think about that? Because that tells me we're either going deeper into learning about that, which they haven't answered any other questions, by the way, sadly, or are we going to get more questions about the island itself, and we're finally going to get into what's next in the next couple of, next couple episodes? Because they're still kind of making no sense of questions. What's going on? Why is it going on?
But I feel like in the next episode we're about to start getting some answers too, because normally this, like we seen in the beginning of like maybe the second episode, it wasn't really as fast paced, but they took the time to kind of like explain a few things of what's about to happen.
Yeah.
So I think it's about time we get another episode like that.
And then my last thing. So we see the brother and sister. So we basically, this ending part's all the two brothers. This the ending thing is all two brothers. We've left the main trio. We see now in a flashback, we do see the other two groups. We see the young girl and the guy that's not that smart, and then we see the other swordsman with the little kid, the other little guy that has the two curved swords. So we've seen everybody in this show, in this episode. But then they focus on the two brothers because the Bandit King walks over to this weird looking thing he saw. But here's the funny thing. I thought it was a vision at first. It's not a vision, but it felt like a vision, which was kind of weird. So then he walks deeper, and then things kind of come more clear. Girl eating a peach-looking fruit with all this drool around it. Then it gets deeper. You see two girls just kind of, how can I put this, like cohabitating to each other, like using their bodies to like mold into art. And then you get deeper and you see like this imagery of like these walls and this thing. And then he gets to the end of it. And I'm gonna ask you this after I mention this. And you see the two brothers looking at this tree that's like half like this like stump of a tree that's not really a tree. And they see the two girls. They don't say anything though. They just kind of stare like, what the world? Then I love the flip side of this, where the two girls stare back and don't say anything, but they're kind of like, who are y'all? So I have two questions.
Yeah, they give that look like, ooh.
Yeah, they're like, ooh, people, actual people. I have two questions. One, the fruit we saw the girl eating on, is that supposed to symbolize the elixir of life?
Me and you did talk about that, and I had a theory, and which makes you want to look up the name of that village even more so. So my theory was the island that they're on. What if it's the Garden of Eden? I did pose that question to you last
You
time.
did, and I could see it. It's the only problem is there's a lot of it's weird because a lot of Buddhist imagery and a lot of that stuff. So I'm wondering how you could play off that without really making it proper, calling it that.
Correct. So I am trying to find the name of that village so I can search it because
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm really curious to the. Let's see. Because Lord knew I can't spell it right.
Yeah, sorry, it was a weird one to spell.
Just give me like 2 minutes.
Yeah, go ahead. While you do that, I'm gonna mention this. Well, we did see from the anime charts or anime corner, they did their vote from this past week, and this vote was kind of interesting because it talked about how. So this vote was from April 28th through May 5th, so this past week. And the vote was for the top 10 anime so far of this spring season, I think is what we considered. And so Hell's Paradise is down 2 spots from 2 to 4. Do you think that's because it's gotten too complex, or do you think that's because it's not as people are getting bored of all the questions? Because me and you ain't getting bored of the questions, but we just want answers. But a normal person wouldn't want, if they keep seeing a lot of questions without no answers, the action's not going to hold you.
True. Like if you give me action alone, then you kind of degrade. Like from a adult anime to a child's anime.
Yes. Did you find?
I'm really close. I had to. So the name is Shinsenkyo.
Okay.
I'm looking at the name of it now.
While Chris looks that up, and once he gets it up, we can talk more about it. I will say this. I agree. You found something.
Keep going.
Keep going. I will say this. I agree with you. If you're making anime where it has a lot of story stuff but you're allowing the action to get through a lot of that story stuff and not really give a lot of answers, you're right. It turns into that child or like a children's anime. But I think the thing is, I think that's why Hell's Paradise is kind of in that weird spot, because I think a lot of people, it's off the radar because it's not something a normal person probably will watch. It's kind of dark. It's kind of more of that darker tone, but it's not like super dark yet. But it has that darker imagery, darker tone, and it's a little bit something that makes you think. And a lot of people don't want to think that hard about anime that often. So if it dropping from 2 to 4, from 2 to 4, it kind of indicates to me people are kind of like, we like the first couple episodes. This last episode, episode 4, or episode 5 wasn't as good. A lot too much talking kind of thing.
Wow. Okay.
What do you find?
Shinsenko is the Japanese name for the ancient Chinese version of paradise.
That's what I thought. I thought it was a word meaning paradise.
But as you keep reading, they said the closest The closest English vernacular could be related to Dragon Ball's Kami. And
Okay.
technically, and Dragon Ball has said Kami technically lives in where? Heaven.
Oh. So in the first episode, when they talk about you're going to paradise, you should be, when the samurai guy, when they're at the like selection thing, and one of the samurai guys goes, "You're going to paradise, you should be happy." But all the criminals were like, "Wait, this place is a death trap." So basically, they considered it heaven, but it feels more like a danger zone, like a very not great place. Wow, that's
Right.
gonna be, geez. Okay, well, that puts into perspective a lot of things. If they can, okay. So the people living there thought it was paradise, but then ended up turning into a bad thing.
Yep.
So we are talking literal gods at this point.
Pretty much.
Okay. All right then. Well,
Hold up, let me.
Yeah, keep going.
Just.
I.
Wow. Okay, never mind. I had to keep that one to myself. I
just. Why?
Bro, if I say it now, like, to me in my mind and the things I just read, I just figured out this whole anime.
Okay. Yeah, keep it to yourself then. Because what I'm thinking, I have a weird hunch that we're going to have to find either the source of the power or the source, whoever's the head of these islands. And as we get deeper into the island, they challenge, because Gupmore even says it. He says in the end episode, he goes, no matter how dangerous it is, no matter how much I have to fight, I'm going to complete this goal. So we're pretty much assuming that we're going to get a lot more dangerous monsters and animals. Monsters, animals, and people.
Okay. And I can imagine us getting some new type of enemies to face.
Correct. That's the other thing. I think we're getting a lot of new type of enemies too. So my last question is, before I actually give you a rating for this episode, what role do you think the two girls play in all this? Because they don't seem like they're really violent. They're not like hostile to the people, to the animals, but they're not hostile to us, to the two brothers. I'm wondering if they play a role.
As far as we know.
As far as we know, that's true. Because I'm wondering if the two brothers are gonna ask a lot of questions of what this island is and do they know? If they do, then something's up. And how long have they been here?
So I have two ideas of what they can be.
Okay.
My first idea, they are another samurai and probation officer. Another convict and probation officer.
If that's the case, when? Because we never met them yet. So was this from a long time ago?
That is true, but wait a minute. But if you do see in the opening sequence, we do see female characters that we haven't seen yet.
Yes, because we see the little girl on that little funny looking monster looking thing at the intro sequence that has looks like Groot. We see both of them in that flower that goes into that dice.
And I think there's one woman who was dressed in purple or something, like a light lavender purple or something.
Yes, there's that too.
Show her Okay, so that is my first theory.
Okay.
My second theory is that they are some type of siren.
It's like mermaids.
Yeah, the concept of a siren, they're made to lure people to them for their own demise.
Ooh, okay, that would be. So that would tie into the thing we're getting stronger enemies as we're getting closer to
exactly
the inner island. That they're stronger, they know what they can do to lure people toward them.
Because we do see those two females. They are what seems to look on some type of statue. Like they're either sitting on a statue or maybe some fallen giant.
Yeah. Fallen tree. What? Yeah. There's not really an indication of what that is exactly. You might be right. You have to start giving us answers. If we don't get to start giving us answers, this is going to get very, very just like not. Unless you're going to keep us in mystery and you're just going to make this a straight up mystery anime, cool. I can't. I'm looking forward to watch more. I'm not worried about that. It's just like I think you need to start answering some questions, or you're gonna have a huge problem.
Right. Like, give me something. Give me something that you want. And again, if anybody does research into that Shinsenkyo place, you might get your answers that you seek. So
yes,
read it at your own.
At your own will.
If you don't like spoilers, if you don't like spoilers, I wouldn't read it.
The other thing I will say, it did leave us on a cliffhanger, which I'm cool with. I don't mind leaving us on a cliffhanger, and this is a new cliffhanger. This is the upside to this. It is a new cliffhanger. It is something that we haven't seen yet. So, if you're giving us a new story thread, cool.
Oh, I'm sorry, keep going.
No, you're good. I was saying, if you give us a new story thread, cool. That makes sense. But you still have other story threads that you need to get. You need to get back or give us answers to.
I agree with that, and what it looks like is that now that we have this new mystery, or two new mysteries that have been put on our plates, it seems like we're going to, if we're not going to get new answers to our questions, at least I feel like the directors are trying to say, hey, we know we gave you mysteries, but right now just focus on this. We got y'all. Just hang with it.
Yeah.
I feel like they're trying to say.
So
rating for this episode?
Yes. So what are you going to give this episode as a rating? And explain after you get the rating, because I'll be interested to hear what you're going to say.
I give it a 6.8.
Oh, okay. Explain.
6.8 because I had to give it, it was good. I liked this episode. I really did. I like the duality of women that they put in and the duality of men. Like, the mindset of a child and a giant and how it could be very destructive. I mean, so for all you childish people, grow up. But at the same time, I got to quit with the mysteries, man. My head hurts.
Yeah, there's a lot of mental gymnastics you have to do to kind of have to go back and listen. The only upside to this, we are watching the English dub pretty much at the same time, so we get to hear the English voice actor saying the stuff in English. So it actually kind of helps us understand what they're actually going for. At the same point, if you're just watching the Japanese dub by itself, you ain't gonna have the same. You're gonna be lost in the dark.
Right, because you hear certain inflections that you in English in your native tongue that they take on a different meaning. If I say Brandon, you good. I say nah, Brandon, you good.
Yeah, they mean two different. There's two different things.
One side sarcasm and one side So these are the things that we miss.
Yes.
Reading the sub. Yeah.
Yeah, subbed. So as we've been talking about this, I hope you have Demon Slayer episode 5 up.
Wait a minute, Brandon.
But I'm gonna give my rating.
Whoa.
I'm gonna give my rating.
Okay.
I'm gonna give my rating. I'm just giving people a chance because we were talking for a lot. So by that time period, you had it up by now. But I will say
my
this.
apologies.
No worries. Hey, you're right. You're fair. Hey, we're team here. That works. Uh, I'm gonna give this show a 7. So I'm a little bit higher than you, but not by much. Only reason why, you've still gave me the one thing that this show's done very well: character building. The character building is still top notch because you've built up Gabimaru in this episode. You built up his handler, the samurai lady. You built her up a lot, by the way. You built up the two brothers. You even built up the samurai, the other little ninja girl, which me and you both think is she's kind of weird, but she started getting the heart. She started getting a heart. I think
right
now
she's still kind of
yeah, she's still kind of but she's slowly getting a heart. I think the big thing now, I really want to know about the two girls that we saw at the end of this episode. I hope you do more stuff with the ninja girl, because I think now seeing that she saw that village, she's probably like, "Oh, we're in the thick of this now. This ain't gonna be easy." And she might change her tact. She might change her mood, or not mood, her tact of how she does things. And then the other thing I want to see, I want to see the other two sets of characters we saw, the young girl and the other dude, and then the older guy and the younger kid. I want to see them interact with our main characters and see how that interaction happens now. We've really met everybody now. We just need to get them to interact and see how this is all going to play out. But it's still
because they keep saying only one person can get off the island. Only one person can be pardoned.
Yes, which makes it feel like, and it's the other thing I thought about as we're watching it, and it dawned on me because after I watched the YouTube video, but it's dawned on me more now. This makes it feel like a battle royale, a straight up battle royale kind of anime without all the like 50 people doing this thing to survive, to be the last one standing. It's more like it's a battle royale, but it's partially a scavenger hunt. So it's a mix of like a battle royale and scavenger hunt to find this thing. The first one to find it and leave wins. But you win your freedom. That's intriguing, but you just have to make it. You have to make all the stuff around it make sense, and they have, to a most part, they have. But right. I think it's just going to be like, how many more questions can you ask without getting those answers? How much stuff can you show us without telling us what it's about? And we hope people are digging. I bet, like Chris just did, he digged and asked what that word meant. I think a lot of people are going to start digging for questions and trying to find themselves. Now, if you don't want to, like Chris said, also don't go down the rabbit hole. You don't want to be spoiled. But at least it makes people think, and I think that's the thing they want. But also, I'll give you an example. With Attack on Titan, it made you think, but it didn't. It still answered questions along the way as it made you think. I think they're just trying to build. This is a new series from them, so they're trying to make it where it builds things up as much as they can, and then they're going to start answering questions. So I think, like you say, the directors and the animators know we're going to give you questions. We're going to give you answers. Just hold on tight.
Yep.
But we're through 6 episodes. I only think we have like 5 left in the season. 5 or 6. If that's the case, and if you haven't started watching this show now, I would say wait. I would say wait until it all comes out and then watch it straight through. But this was only the first part of this really good week in anime. We're about to go into the second part. We had the main course. Now we're heading for dessert. I hope you got
warning. Warning.
Go ahead.
Just letting anybody who listens know. If you have not seen this episode, gear up. Get
Yes.
your popcorn, get your drink. Yeah, say.
I'll say.
Get your kids out the room.
They pack a lot in this episode. I will say 2, 3, 1 in a minute, and we'll get right into it. So, Chris, you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. 3, 2, 1. I love how they did the same thing last time. They started for where we left off. They've done that every time.
Right. Well, no, actually, they didn't. They did not, actually.
Oh, they did not?
The last episode left off with us seeing a love.
Because I thought they were still running in the forest at this point.
They were.
Oh no, you're right.
About that, but the last.
But we saw Mitsuri. That's right. That's right. What's he gonna do with that cleaver?
That's a good question, man. But he probably needs something to defend himself with.
He can't have no sword. That's true.
Thank you, little dude, for keeping the story on track.
I love that. Yeah, we gotta go.
He was really about to get the whole deal. He really was.
Yeah. My other favorite song this year.
You still hear me?
I can.
Okay.
I hope that I hope people go out and listen to this music by itself because this is probably some of the best we've had all year.
I agree. I hope everybody noticed that last little scene.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
This guy.
The most creepiest demon I think we've seen so far.
By far. Now we've seen him hit that bell for like 2 or 3 episodes, right?
Yes, we have. And yet you should have already been running. You would be sticking around now.
You're right. Ooh, legs. Ooh.
And there's a love Hashira.
Man. And like, ooh. And I mean, whatever kind of sword she got, bro.
So that acts like a whip, I think what they said.
Yeah, I'm sure people that put two and two together and say, love Harash, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he made a bitch out of you. It is indeed a very unique sword.
Yeah.
Shivers of First Love. You know, somebody posted a really good question.
Mm-hmm.
It's so all of the samurai, all the swordsmen, they all have a unique breathing technique for each of their styles, right?
Correct.
So how exactly does the Love Hashira breathing style work?
I don't actually know. I love the scene, by the way. It's kind of funny.
I can't even be mad at that saying because I think anybody would be that way.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, here we go.
Jeez, the lighting on this looks amazing.
For real.
And this is only the beginning of it. Like, they...
Justin was carrying you, and now you carrying her.
Yep. Ooh. This is the creepiest thing I think I've seen. This part was really weird.
Dude, this dude is just messed up in the head.
Yes.
For real. That is something horrifying to see. Now that is dark.
Yes, that is.
You really want to say something? That is dark. And the fact that they're still alive. Yeah.
Oh, they are still. I forgot about that. They are still alive. He literally twisted the sword in and they started screaming.
Man. I thought, for that moment, I thought he had him.
Yeah, I did. Same here.
So now he's mad.
Mm-hmm.
At least they let you know all he got to do is just be hit him one time.
Yep.
Unlike the other dude.
Oh.
Ooh. And you know that it's got to hurt to talk too.
I don't know how he's talking or moving after that.
I do like the art on the fish though.
Yeah, I like that fish art. That's really cool.
One thing we have to remember about that is that he's about to get a new sword.
Yes, he is. Man, that scene where she lights that on fire. Jeez.
Oh boy. To me, this is a moment where he becomes a Hashira.
Yep.
In my book. Mm-hmm. Nah, bruh.
Nope.
Getting memories, huh? Memories that ain't even yours.
Yep.
Whoa, here we go. Oh, now you think your face.
One of the best like animated scenes ever.
Bro, holy shit. Bro, this dude beheaded 3 demons in one strike.
Yep.
And all of those were upper rank demons.
And we're left on that image.
Man.
All right.
Shit,
That was awesome.
That was pretty epic, man.
Yes, it was.
Epic.
So I'm gonna ask you this first. What was the standout part of that episode for you?
Wait, say it again.
What was the standout part of that episode for you?
Is that
That's probably not even a question,
Are
but
you serious?
I think I know your answer. Yeah, Tanjiro.
Man, my bro Tanjiro came out the new move, and he beheaded 3 upper rank demons in one sweep. Just one.
Yeah, not even try. Like, doesn't even
Now,
have to try.
And now, here's the thing. I'm sure a lot of people argue is that upper rank demon was split. His power was split between 4 different bodies. So he's probably not as strong as, let's say, some of the other upper rank demons.
Mm-hmm.
So let's put him on par. Let's say it was 4 demons that were the same strength as the spider demon.
Okay.
From season 1.
Okay.
So let's say they were about that strong, but he still beheaded 3 of them in one strike.
Yeah.
Like, do you realize how fast he had to be moving?
Like, he was moving pretty fast, and he did that like with no hesitation.
Man.
I will say, the other thing I thought about when I thought about that, we saw right before we saw that, is he's talking about all the other people that helped him along the way. Didn't that ever just remind you of like from like Jedi Star Wars, where like you see all the other Jedi helping Luke in the past when Luke was younger? Because I think that.
Say it again. I was trying to.
Oh no, you're good. So like when Tanjiro has all the other Hashira, like Ginyu, or the Water Hashira, the former master that taught him. You have from the entertainment district, all just kind of, he thinks it back to all that, and he's just like, they helped me. Now I need to help people, and just it reminded me of like something out of Star Wars, where you see all these like other Jedi come together to help Luke when Luke was younger. I think I like that. I like how they did that. That was really well done.
I agree.
My big thing with this episode too, we actually get to see the Love Hashira fight, and yeah, she, like that one guy says when they're like standing around, they're like, she's strong, she's fast. Well, no, she's a Hashira, but at the same time, it's like it's just the way they animated it and just like showed it off, and it felt like, oh, okay, she good.
Man.
I think the only thing about this episode that there's only one question out of this episode, really. Or two. One, how long is Miss Hosher in that water prison?
Yeah, because they did leave that as a cliffhanger.
Yes, they did. They left it in a cliffhanger. Because he even mentions that all that poison you just took from all those spikes, you're gonna die eventually. Which I'm like, oh, they've left him in a weird cliffhanger because he could either die from the poison or die from suffocation, which both of those are kind of bad.
But he is the Hashira of the mist, right?
Yes.
Mist is a very fine water, right?
Yes. Yes, it is.
What if imprisoning him in that water only made him stronger?
Yeah, that's the thing I could see happening, where he becomes stronger, but he has help to get stronger, like somebody pops the bubble or something, and he ends up getting all that water and using it to his advantage. I like the way this episode opens up, because it's just like we're back with the three of them, and then they're just like, "I'll have a sword for you. It's at this place." They just running around, and we need to, it's over here. And I like the little kid's like, "We need to go. We can't just stand out in the middle of the field. We need to get going." And he's just like, "We need to move." And they start moving. They're like, "Where's this? Check out." It's like right here, and then you just see the pot. You're like, and they all stop. And the kid's like, "Why'd you stop?" "Oh, the pot." So they didn't know what was going on. I thought that was really interesting how they brought back him as a villain. And then the other thing I really appreciated, Nezuko in this episode. I don't know if you agree with this, but I think Nezuko has grown a lot so far in these first couple episodes.
And that's what I meant when I was like, did you see that last split-second scene in the intro?
Mm-hmm.
Didn't that look like Nezuko's mouthpiece?
Yes, it did.
So that either means one or two things, and I hope it's the better version of the two. The best version is that what if she becomes so strong that she can start talking again? She can hold conversations.
That's one version. The other version, did you also notice it was during the daylight?
But
So,
and then there's also the messed up version.
There's a messed up version. Did you also notice during the daylight? So one or two things could happen. Either she's gonna get hurt from the daylight because she can't be out in the sun, or she can officially walk in the daylight. She conquered the sun.
Yes. I literally make her stronger than the
Muzan, who's trying to figure that out. I have to give him a lot of credit. They made this episode make sense. They brought back all the major players. We're in the back half of this now. And now we're just in a lot of fights, a lot of like building up to things. I even like the fact that I love the fact when the demons go, "That sword, it's on fire. Why do I remember?" And I love the realization, like, Lord Muzan, that's the sword that beheaded him. He had to run away. I just love the imagery like that. That was so good. I appreciate that they did that the way they did it.
Like they literally show fear in the demons, like when they see that.
Correct. The only thing I would want to mention is like the flashbacks. We saw two flashbacks. We saw one with Todoroki. He was talking about some guy said he wasn't that strong. We don't know who the guy was. Is that more of that stuff that Tanjiro opened up from the previous couple of episodes ago? To like make him more unaware of his surroundings and like his mind is getting clear.
I can see that.
Okay.
Like, or maybe the demon that he's facing could have been the one that slaughtered his family.
That could be the other thing. Yeah, correct. And then the last thing I loved about the last question I had before we give our ratings. What do you think happened to Ginya? Because they leave it on a cliffhanger. Tandra's like, "Oh, Ginya, did you slay the last head? Did you do it simultaneously?" And Ginya, they do the reveal like Ginya's like breathing deeply, his gun in his hand. You see the head in his hand. It's bleeding. He turns his head. He's like, and he just like, he's got this growl. And Tandra's like, Ginya, what happened? Why are you? I don't know, a demon. I love that reveal.
He looks demonized.
He's demonized. Yeah, he looks demonized. I love that reveal, but also I wonder if what's gonna happen if they're gonna go back to that tooth we saw at the beginning of this episode for like the first episode of this series. Why was Ginya pulling out his teeth? Why did Tundra have the tooth that he pulled out a long time ago? There's got to be something to that. I think that's gonna be something they're gonna answer next episode, or does he even explain it? You just kind of let it go. I love that cliffhanger. I think that's one of the better cliffhangers they've done so far. Yeah, there's not much to talk about this episode. Like, there's a lot to talk about this episode, but also this is the episode you just need to go out of your way to watch. This episode's too good not to go watch, and I think Chris agrees with that.
I do have one question for you, though.
Okay.
I had one question for you. The Tanjiro scene, how much money did you think that cost?
The whole episode, each episode averages $80,000. If you're just animating the scene where he's cutting off three demons' heads, the lighting for that. Actually, I'll start from when the sword gets lit up from Nezuko. I think that's about $6,000-$7,000 alone.
Man,
that's probably
worth every penny.
Oh yeah, but you can tell they've done ever since Mugen Train, their quality's gone. Mugen Train and every season, like Entertainment District now, quality's gone up. They're going movie level quality without even spending a lot of money. They know how to use their movie level quality very well.
But I mean, it's more than that too, because in the first season, I mean, they really do set up this story to go far, even though we know it's not going to go that far.
Correct. They do.
And then with the first season being 24 or 36 episodes, I forget.
26 total.
Right. So they really did a lot in the first season.
Oh yeah, they did a lot.
Will we get another season? Will we get another season of 26 episodes?
I assume the Infinity Castle arc will be pretty long. Only because that's a lot of fighting in that arc.
Yes.
If I had to guess, that's a lot of fighting in that arc. But outside of that, I don't think that's the last arc of the show, technically. So that could be a long, maybe 15, 20 episodes.
I can see that.
But before we end this podcast, Chris, what would you give this episode of Demon Slayer, episode 5 of the Swordsmith Village arc?
Just like the previous episode, I'm giving it a 9.9.
Fair enough. I tend to agree with you. 9. We still have a lot of story to go. I said this. I'll say it for Hell's Paradise, but I'll say it the opposite for Demon Slayer. If you haven't started watching Demon Slayer season, if you watched the previous seasons but you haven't started the season yet because you want to wait till it all comes out, I would implore you to start watching it, because I think that the difference is this keeps you engaged. This keeps they keep you with a good story. It keeps you. Also, it keeps the cliffhangers very well. Like the last cliffhanger for this with Genya, that's really interesting. We're gonna probably pick that up next episode right off the bat. But also, they do a good job with character building, and all of that together has been amazing so far this season. If you're waiting until it all comes out, you're gonna be solely missing a lot of conversations of people just trying to figure out the story. I say if you haven't started watching, start watching it immediately and get through episode 5. It won't take you that long. You'll probably been watching in a couple hours, which is not a bad thing. Like ultimately, you're gonna do it anyway. But we're gonna leave it there. I do thank you for listening. Hope you did enjoy. We'll be back next week. We have episode 7 of Hell's Paradise. We have episode 6 of Demon Slayer. We're getting to the home stretch, everybody. We're getting to the back half of the season. We're gonna get ready for a very interesting and very exciting ride to the end. Hope you join us along the way. This episode will go up on my YouTube channel and also on Spotify as well. So if you want to check out either places, all the other episodes are on Spotify, and there's actually 2 more episodes on YouTube right now. Like I said, I do thank you for listening. Thank you, Chris, for joining me. We'll wait for you next time. See you.